If you manage a business, you cannot afford to not watch this video because we're going to discuss how to prioritize like a genius so that your business emerges stronger than ever out of this economic downturn. If you want to know what did Bezos differently during the dot-com crisis that propelled Amazon forward, you're in the right place. Let's get to it. Hey, I'm Castillo, founder of Selfmastered. We're a high-performance training company that helps entrepreneurs scale their businesses by solving their silent bottleneck, their own performance. We transform the unproductive, overwhelming, and focused entrepreneurs into laser-focused business athletes that can achieve in one day what they previously achieved in 1 week. Hello friends, so today I want to talk about how to prioritize like a genius. And first, let's define what is a genius in the context of business and entrepreneurship. And to me, a genius is someone that goes from 0 to 1, from idea to prototype in record time, and then grows the business exponentially very fast while minimizing friction. And in order to do that, I believe one of the best skills that you can develop is prioritization, knowing what to work on at all times so you never fall for shiny object syndrome. So you always keep the upper hand when the times are hard and difficult. In order to be super clear, when you prioritize well and you become a business genius, you essentially unlock 4 superpowers. 1, only working on the right things. 2, setting the right targets and goals within those things. 3, being able to execute consistently and also remain able to course correct effectively every week. And finally, being able to perform at elite level for years on end so that you never break the momentum that you conquer in the first place. If you do these 4 things right, you essentially become a business genius. But the foundational skills is to know how to prioritize. And before we dive deep into how to prioritize, what are the 4 steps that I suggest you follow in order to only work on the right things and set the right targets, remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss out on any juicy videos that we publish every week. 1 is focus on the macro. Essentially is only work on what builds your vision, or make sure that you are not deviating yourself from the path that you've set for yourself. Remember, we have a video on how to be stubborn on vision and flexible on details. What matters is the direction that you choose to espouse for your life and your business. Everything that doesn't fall within that direction is a distraction, and if you get distracted in a recession, you lose. So the number 1 thing to prioritize like a genius is having a vision, a very clear picture of the future that you're willing to build and commit to that future. 2, prioritize building assets. See, all businesses have assets. An asset is essentially something that provides economic value. It can be a process, a trademark, a patent, employee. It can be your own creativity. All businesses are founded and supported by assets. But oftentimes when we are moving fast, there's a trade-off between actually building an asset or just making a quick decision. And that happens at all times. It happens when you hire, happens when you market, happens when you sell, happens when you build products. And the best entrepreneurs, those that are able to prioritize like geniuses, understand that the most important thing you need to do is to build assets that can yield future economic value. A clear example of this is, let's say that you need to hire someone for a key role within your company. If you prioritize this build assets mentality, you will find the best possible people that you have available and put a high salary so that he or she is not willing to leave after a few months. Because the longer that person stays in your business, the more value that person will provide and the better relationship you both will have. So essentially, it will become a clear underpin of your business. This thinking can also be applied to product. Instead of building shitty products, devote a sizable amount of time to just build one very good product that you know works and doesn't need to be updated every few months. And again, if you are willing to apply this build assets mentality, devote time to create a scripts that you know works so that you can train new reps fast in the script and essentially become a sales machine. This building assets mentality is what allowed Jeff Bezos to survive the dot-com crash. At some point, shares were down 80% and people were losing faith in the company. But he told his employees, listen, we are doing the hard things. We are building assets that would yield economic value in the decades to come. While people were battering our stock as if all stocks were the same, Amazon was actually building physical assets like fulfillment centers and supply chains and building teams that will make sure that Amazon becomes stronger because of the crisis. And that is essentially what happened. So step number 2 is to build assets within your business. Think long term. Only entertain those things that you know will be useful in a few years in time. 3, seek leverage. Leverage is a force multiplier, is what allows you to extract an inordinate amount of output for a small fraction or input. Leverage is better exemplified by the Pareto law, in which 80% of things provide 20% of results and vice versa. 20% of things provide 80% of results. That is a mathematical law that is based on the power laws that govern the universe. And you can find leverage points at each step of the way when managing your business. So think about how to have the most impact in your business and only focus on that. Only focus on the things that you know will give you leverage. Example of this, if you are in need of creating a new organic marketing channel, prioritize YouTube, in which the videos are searchable and can remain in your channel for years, than Twitter, that is just 280 characters, provide little context and information, and that tweet is gone after 3 minutes. This is a very simple example, but the idea is that leverage is what's going to allow you to maximize your impact. And finally, 4, solve problems once. This is very important. As you know, because we discussed the theory of constraints before, the limit of the growth of a system is the bottleneck that is preventing that system from growing. So the thing you need to focus on is focus on the bottleneck and solve that concurrently. Do that to the best of your ability so you do not need to revisit that decision or rebuild the system. Back to the hiring example. If you have a problem in sales and you need one sales rep, find the best sales rep you can so that you don't need to hire another one a few months down the line. Maximize your ability to work on the right things by doing things once. And this is essentially how to prioritize like a genius. 1, understand what is the vision and only work on what's aligned on the vision, even if you need to be flexible in the details. 2, build assets. Assets is what's going to keep your business running. So hire the best people, build the best product, create the best systems so you can rely on them when times get tough. 3, seek leverage. Only work on high leverage things, those that have an incredible impact. Seek to have a lean business that can support itself because it maximizes its impact through leverage points. And then 4, only work on things once. Solve the bottleneck once and for all and create a machine that becomes robust and eventually anti-fragile over time. This is how I believe entrepreneurs can prioritize like business genius, especially in the context of a recession. I hope this was useful. Please let me know in the comments if you learned anything or if you think I missed anything, and see you in the next video.